Chosen one, you're not imagining it. There is something stirring in the atmosphere around you. The date may look like any other day on the calendar, but your spirit knows better. July 31st will feel different, because it is. A divine shift is taking place, subtle to the world, but loud in the spirit. This is not a normal Thursday. This is not a regular turn of time. This is a spiritual threshold, one that separates what was from what will be. And if you're hearing this now, it's not a coincidence. It's because you are deeply connected to that unfolding moment. There are days when heaven speaks louder, days when the unseen becomes undeniable, days when God doesn't just whisper, He moves. July 31st is one of those days. In realms you cannot yet see, alignments are being made, appointments are being scheduled in the supernatural. You are being positioned, recalibrated, and reintroduced to your divine identity. The heaviness you felt recently was not resistance without purpose, it was pressure before birth. Because what rises in you on this day is not weakness, it is transformation. On July 31st, you may find yourself feeling unusually introspective, unusually emotional, or unusually clear. That's not chance, that's divine sensitivity. Your spiritual awareness is being heightened so you can receive what has long been stored for this exact window in time. The noise of the world will try to distract you, but those who listen closely will feel the pull. Slow down, go inward, hear what heaven is trying to say. This is a sacred checkpoint on your journey. You must align your heart, clear your mind, and open your spirit. What's coming is too big for old mindsets. What's coming requires space. God is about to pour out something powerful, and He needs a vessel that's ready to receive. Before we dive deeper into this word, I need you to do 3 things. First, like this video, not just to support the channel, but as a bold act of agreement with this prophetic message. Second, subscribe and help us reach 1,000 chosen ones walking in purpose. Then go to the comments and write 99 or 777. Third, write your deepest desire, your most heartfelt prayer in the comments. Don't just type it, release it with faith. Because whatever you write in faith becomes sealed in the heavens. This is your divine declaration. Now breathe. Let your heart slow down, because July 31st is not about external performance. It's about internal positioning. This is a day to ask, am I in agreement with the version of me that God is calling forth? Not the version others expect, not the version formed by fear, but the true version, the original blueprint. On this day, divine clarity becomes accessible. Like mist clearing from a mountaintop, the vision sharpens. The fog lifts. What once felt confusing will suddenly feel obvious, and what once felt too far out of reach will now seem divinely timed. Something sacred is being remembered inside you. July 31st is a spiritual anniversary for many souls, whether they recognize it or not. It is a day of reawakening, a day when the Holy Spirit touches sleeping gifts and stirs them awake. Old dreams will resurface, quiet passions will grow louder, long-forgotten promises will echo again. Not because you're returning to the past, but because you're reconnecting with the part of you that always knew this moment would come. And yes, there may be a restlessness in the air, but that's not chaos, it's acceleration. The soul knows when breakthrough is near. The soul knows when it's about to cross a new threshold. On July 31st, the spiritual atmosphere becomes thin. Heaven closer, truth louder, intuition clearer. You're not supposed to feel normal on this day. You're not supposed to move on as if it's just another Thursday. Because it isn't. July 31st marks a spiritual reappointment, a reactivation of assignments. For some, it will be a silent shift, a deep knowing. For others, it may arrive with prophetic dreams, sudden clarity, or even unexpected emotional release. You might find yourself remembering things you hadn't thought of in years. People from your past may reach out unexpectedly. Your soul will search for the deeper meaning behind it all, and that's good. That's necessary, because meaning is what births mission. This is a time to be intentional with your attention, to guard your energy, to listen more than you speak, to tune out the noise and ask yourself, what am I being called into now? For on this day, what you focus on will expand. What you align with will manifest. This is not about working harder, it's about surrendering deeper, about trusting that something ancient and holy is being unlocked in you. You may find yourself wanting solitude on July 31st, or even crying without knowing why. You may feel a mix of sadness and anticipation, of grieving the old but welcoming the new. That's the tension of transformation, the tearing between who you were and who you're becoming. The spirit is whispering, let go. Let go of the fear, let go of the delay, let go of the wait, because what's being released in your life on this day has been waiting for your readiness. And now you are ready. There are days that pass quietly, and there are days that speak. But July 31st does more than speak. It stirs. It awakens something ancient in you, something holy that cannot be explained with logic or contained in language. You may wake up and feel different without understanding why. Your senses may feel heightened, time may feel slower or strangely intense. That's not coincidence, that's spiritual reality pressing into physical space. Heaven isn't far on this day, it's close, thick in the air, like a soft, invisible mist brushing your skin, tugging gently at your soul, reminding you, you were made for more than survival. You were made for divine fulfillment. That's why everything feels a little sharper, a little deeper, a little more important. The veil is thinner. The space between the natural and the supernatural is almost non-existent. If you're sensitive to it, you'll feel it in your chest, in your dreams, in your gut. This day has been marked in your journey long before you even knew to watch for it. You may not remember why, but your spirit does. Your spirit remembers the vows it made with heaven, the promises spoken in silence, the whispers exchanged between your soul and the divine before you entered this world. And on July 31st, something in the atmosphere stirs that memory. That's why you feel the pull to pay attention, to stop, to listen, because this day is not about doing more, it's about being more aligned with what you already carry inside. On July 31st, God doesn't come to prove anything. He comes to remind. He doesn't come to demand. He comes to unveil. The version of you that has been hidden behind years of duty, trauma, confusion, or noise, that version begins to re-emerge today. You'll feel the old layer shedding. You'll feel the old patterns beginning to crack. You may even feel a new hunger inside you that you can't fully describe. That's because destiny is calling you by name, and not your public name, not the one the world knows, but the name only heaven knows, the one written on your soul, the name God whispered when He knit you together. That identity is rising now, not because of pressure, but because of alignment, because you are finally in rhythm with something bigger than you, and it feels unfamiliar only because it's pure, not distorted by expectation, not tainted by ego, just divine. You may feel like withdrawing, not from people, but from distraction. You may feel the urge to journal, to pray, to walk in silence. Follow that, obey that instinct. The Holy Spirit moves more clearly in stillness than in chaos. Don't miss this window because you were too busy filling it with noise. July 31st is not about volume, it's about vibration. The frequency of your life is shifting, and in order to receive it, you must match it. You must raise your inner world to meet what God is releasing around you. And no, you're not crazy. You're not overly emotional. You're not making things up. You're sensitive to God's timing. You are chosen, and chosen ones don't move like everyone else. You don't walk by sight alone. You don't live by logic alone. You are spiritually encoded to detect divine movement. And this day is pulsing with movement. Heaven is active, angels are dispatched. Assignments are being rearranged. And if you're tuned in, you'll feel it all. Don't resist the change. Let it wash over you. Let it cleanse you. Let it heal the part of you that thought it was too late. Let it revive the part of you that once burned with purpose. Let July 31st be the day you finally stop delaying your becoming. This is not the time to second-guess yourself. This is not the time to play small. This is the time to step forward, not with arrogance, but with holy boldness. You may not see immediate fireworks, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Some shifts are internal, some awakenings happen in silence, but they are no less real. You'll know them by how your thoughts change, by how your heart responds, by how you suddenly see clearly what once felt foggy. That's how you know the veil is lifting. That's how you know heaven is whispering. And yes, there is a responsibility in this awareness. Once you feel this shift, you can't return to apathy. You can't go back to pretending you don't know. You can't keep hiding behind someday. Because July 31st is about now. This is the divine appointment you've been unconsciously preparing for. This is not a checkpoint, it's a commissioning. You're not being told to try harder. You're being released to walk lighter, freer, fuller. The Spirit is saying, I've waited for this moment. I've waited for you to see it. I've waited for you to believe it. And now you do. So take this day seriously, not with fear, but with reverence, with readiness, with anticipation. Not because it's the only holy day, but because it's the one heaven chose to highlight for you. And when heaven highlights something, it means the time is right. The oil is fresh, the moment is alive. And you are in perfect position to receive what was previously delayed. This is more than a date. This is a door, and it's already opening. You are now standing in the doorway of a divine unfolding. This is not symbolic. It is sacred timing. July 31st has always been written in your story as a moment when heaven leans in, where the invisible touches the visible, where the supernatural doesn't just brush past you, it enters the room. You don't need loud signs to know this. You feel it. You sense it. A subtle electricity in your soul, a holy tension between what was and what will be. And in that stillness, something awakens. The difference on this day is not in the world, it's in you. You are tuned differently. Your spirit, perhaps after years of wandering, now knows what to listen for. And because you're listening, you're catching what others miss. Divine patterns, unseen invitations, hidden openings. Things that would seem irrelevant on any other day suddenly feel like sacred messages meant only for your ears. It may feel quiet, even ordinary on the surface, but don't be fooled. There is a holy gravity behind everything happening today. Heaven doesn't move by accident. Every nudge you feel in your chest, every sudden wave of emotion, every unexplainable insight, those are not glitches in your day. They are spiritual codes, clues, alignments designed just for you. And if you're present, if you're receptive, you will not miss them. You'll begin to notice how you pause longer in reflection, how your heart is softer, more open to direction. You'll sense a deeper craving, not for noise, but for presence, not for recognition, but for alignment. That is how you know something sacred is unfolding. Not through chaos, but through clarity. Not through performance, but through stillness. This is God speaking differently, not through storms, but through silence. July 31st is not about dramatic encounters. It's about the subtle beauty of awareness, about finally catching the divine rhythm and letting it carry you. You don't need to force the moment. You don't need to fix yourself to be worthy of it. You just need to show up as you are. The door is open, not because you knocked perfectly, but because God knew this was the moment your soul was ready to walk through it. On this day, divine memory is activated. You remember things you didn't know you had forgotten. Spiritual truths you once felt but buried under doubt. Promises you dismissed because they took too long. They rise again, not because they changed, but because you did. You are now in a posture to receive, not passively but consciously. You're not waiting for a miracle to drop from the sky. You've become the vessel it was always meant to flow through. July 31st is not just a time of receiving, it's a time of releasing. Releasing control, releasing the pressure to know everything, releasing the shame that told you had to earn what God freely gives. You're not striving anymore, you're surrendering. You're finally letting go of the false identities, the roles you had to play, the masks you wore to survive. They don't belong in this chapter. The real you, the raw, unpolished, awakened you, is more than enough. You'll find yourself pulled toward reflection today, pulled to ask questions like, okay, what am I building with my life? Is my routine aligned with my purpose? What voices am I allowing into my space? These aren't just thoughts, they are divine prompts, the kind that don't just challenge your habits, they rewire your heart. And in that rewiring, new pathways are formed, not just spiritually, but energetically, emotionally, even mentally. Because what God is doing in you now is holistic. He's not just touching your spirit, He's reconfiguring your inner world, restoring emotional balance, clearing mental fog, softening your physical body, releasing tension that's been stored for years. It's all connected. That's why this day may feel heavy for some, not because something's wrong, but because something deep is being healed. Don't resist the discomfort. Let it cleanse you. Let it make space for what's next. Today, you may cry for reasons you can't name, or laugh suddenly, or feel nostalgic for something you can't define. All of that is valid. All of that is holy. This is not just another Thursday. This is a spiritual remembrance day. Even if you don't remember what exactly you're remembering, your soul does. And it's singing louder today. It's dancing again in ways it hasn't for a long time. Let it. Don't rush. Don't try to understand every detail. You're not being asked to decode a puzzle. You're being asked to trust the flow. And the flow on July 31st is sacred, slow, gentle, and extremely precise. You may not see the full picture yet, but piece by piece, it's coming together. And you are the living bridge between what God promised and what is manifesting now. So let July 31st be the day you say yes again, to your calling, to your healing, to the sacred responsibility of carrying light in a world that forgot how to see. You are not here to escape reality. You're here to illuminate it. And today, that light shines brighter because you chose to be fully present in this moment. This is your divine rehearsal for the life you've prayed for. Don't look back. Don't overthink it. Don't apologize for the anointing that's rising in you. Just walk forward, because the difference you feel on this day is not imagined, it's prophetic, and it's just beginning. There's a spiritual stillness to this day, but beneath that stillness lies a powerful awakening. July 31st is not loud because it doesn't need to be. It carries the weight of prophecy, the depth of remembrance, and the quiet certainty of divine movement. If your soul feels restless or unusually alert, it's because something timeless is rising within you, something you agreed to long before this moment in time. This is not just a shift in energy, this is a holy reckoning. On days like this, you don't need to search for signs. You are the sign. Your life, your awakening, your presence on this day is proof that destiny has found you. And even if you don't have all the answers yet, Even if the path isn't fully lit, what matters is that you're here, awake, available, tuned to the frequency of something greater. And yes, that greater will often feel like pressure, but chosen one, pressure doesn't come to destroy, it comes to define. You've been pressed, not to punish you, but to extract the power inside you. What's rising now is not weakness, it's the part of you that was forged in silence, in solitude, in sacred preparation. This moment is not an accident. You didn't stumble into it. You were led. On July 31st, many will move as usual, but you'll notice the subtle turns. The way conversations feel weightier, the way time seems to slow, the way everything ordinary suddenly feels soaked in meaning. That's because this isn't just another day, it's an altar, and your life is what's being placed upon it. You're being refined for something eternal, and what's happening inside of you cannot be rushed. Don't panic if you don't feel explosive change. Some transformations bloom in silence. Some revelations don't come with thunder, they come with stillness. Let July 31st be the day you trust what you feel, even if you can't explain it yet. Heaven doesn't always use language. Sometimes it speaks through sensation, and today it's whispering loudly. You may feel the urge to clean your space, clear your calendar, make room. That's not random. It's sacred instruction, because what is entering your life now needs space. Not just physical space, but emotional, mental, and spiritual space. This is the pruning before the blossoming, the rearranging before the release. And though pruning hurts, it's always for growth. Let it all fall away. The false responsibilities, the internal narratives that say you have to have it all figured out. The lies that told you you're too far behind. None of that belongs here. What belongs in this moment is you, raw, honest, open. You don't need to be perfect to be ready. You just need to be willing to surrender to what's unfolding. And something is unfolding. Inside of you, around you, through you. This is also a day of spiritual realignment. If there are people in your life who feel off now, don't force the connection. If conversations that once energized you now feel heavy, it's not because you're wrong. It's because you're shifting. The people, energies, and influences in your orbit are being divinely recalibrated. Let it happen. Don't chase what's fading. Focus on what's blooming. Focus on what feels life-giving, not life-draining. Because today, more than ever, you are being asked to choose with intention. Every choice you make today echoes louder. Every decision is more potent. That's not pressure, it's power. That's how sacred time works. What you do with this day carries spiritual weight, not in fear, but in faith. You are writing the next chapter with your alignment, and that alignment starts by simply listening. Listening to the pauses, the tension, the tenderness. Listening to the breath of God as it moves through your intuition, your creativity, your compassion. This is not a time for answers. It's a time for awareness. You are not behind. You are not unworthy. You are not too late. Everything is being arranged perfectly, and July 31st is the evidence. This day is confirmation that the inner work was not in vain, that the tears you cried in secret were not wasted, that the healing you begged for in silence was heard. Heaven is remembering you, and more than that, heaven is responding. This is a spiritual portal, a sacred convergence, and while the world spins blindly, you are seeing clearly. The more you honor this day, the more clarity will follow. The more you lean in, the more you will receive. The shift happening in your life isn't based on chance, it's based on covenant. You were always meant to reach this point. The timing, the synchronicities, the quiet signs, they are not coincidence, they are alignment. Heaven's way of saying, you're ready. So what now? Now you move with awareness. You speak less, But when you do, you speak with fire. You no longer say yes to things that drain your soul. You no longer entertain connections that keep you stuck. You no longer shrink to fit inside spaces you've outgrown. This day marks a subtle but sacred uprising in your soul. You don't have to scream it, just live it. Live like someone who knows they're being guided. Walk like someone who trusts the way is being made. Pray like someone who believes that angels are already moving. Because they are. And you're not waiting anymore. You're walking through the door. Today, something inside you stands taller, even if your body hasn't moved. You are not just sensing a shift, you are becoming the shift. July 31st has carried you across a threshold that many won't even notice, but you've walked through it with eyes wide open, and that matters, because those who perceive divine timing, those who lean in when the world leans out, are the ones who carry what others only chase. You didn't come to this moment by chance. Your soul has been preparing for this, quietly, faithfully, over the years, in moments when you almost gave up, in seasons where no one saw your growth, your tears, your surrender. But heaven did. And now heaven responds. What's rising in you today is not temporary emotion, it's activation. The way your heart opens wider, the way your thoughts feel lighter, the way you're suddenly okay, releasing what no longer serves you. That's not just healing, that's realignment. You're not falling apart, you're falling into place. And yes, it may feel strange to feel so deeply aware while the world moves on like nothing is happening. But don't let that fool you. This day is marked, not by chaos, but by clarity. Not by performance, but by positioning. God is not asking you to make noise, He's asking you to make room. Room for the next level. Room for the version of you that no longer apologizes for being awakened, anointed, and appointed. You're no longer hoping something changes. You know it's already happening. You're no longer begging for signs. You are the evidence. This shift isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally allowing yourself to be who you've always been, under the surface of survival. On July 31st, the mask breaks. The old identity dissolves. The soul steps forward. You are not here to impress. You're here to embody, to carry divine peace in chaos, to move with direction even when others are lost in circles. That's why your energy feels different today. That's why your perspective has shifted. Because something ancient inside you, something holy, is now awake. And with that awakening comes a new kind of responsibility, not to perform, but to be rooted in truth, to be anchored in presence, to be committed to your becoming, even when no one claps for you. This is where your quiet obedience becomes thunder in the spirit realm, where your stillness shakes strongholds, where your peace becomes power. You are not who you were before today. Something has changed. Not in a dramatic flash, but in the steady reordering of your foundation. The core of you has realigned, the inner voice is clearer, the spiritual weight has lifted, and in its place, grace, direction, certainty. You may not have all the answers, but you no longer need them, because faith has taken root, and faith doesn't need facts to move forward. You don't need a stage to walk in your calling. You don't need a platform to carry presence. You just need intention, integrity, intimacy with your inner knowing. That's what this day has awakened. That's what's been unlocked. So hold your head high, not in pride, but in presence. Carry this peace like armor. Protect this clarity like treasure. Let this transformation shape how you show up from here forward. Because today didn't just come to inspire you, it came to remind you of the truth. You were never forgotten, never too late, never too broken. Everything you've experienced, every delay, every valley, every silent night, was preparing you for this depth of awareness, this height of authority. this fullness of purpose. Now you walk in it, without apology, without delay, without waiting for permission. July 31st was never just a day. It was a doorway, and you walked through it. O divine Creator, on this sacred day, I open my heart to you with full trust and surrender. Cleanse me of all that no longer serves your purpose in me. Fill every empty space with your light, your peace, and your direction. I release fear, delay, and confusion, and I welcome clarity, alignment, and divine timing. Let every step I take from this day forward be guided by your wisdom. May I walk in purpose, speak in love, and live in truth. Protect my journey, elevate my spirit, and surround me with those who honor what you've placed inside me. Thank you for the shift happening in me. I receive it, I embrace it, and I trust that what's ahead is greater than what I leave behind. Amen.